Casey's Audio Vault.
Mike Wengren from Disturbed.
September 28th, 2010.
Hey, Casey, how you doing?
I'm okay today. How about you?
I'm great, thanks.
Huge bill for Rockstar Energy Drink Uproar. Disturbed, Avenged, Stone Sour, Hell Yeah. Is there one of those bands you've been enjoying most watching from stage left?
Well, it's been a great tour for everybody out here. We've been having a great time, and one of the things I love about the tour the most is we've been friends with a lot of these guys for a long time. Even some of the newer bands that we just met, we became close friends with. So it's just been cool for us just to be able to go out there and do our thing, but during the day just kind of hang out with all of our friends.
Well, I think that's the way fans imagine it, like all the bands partying together every night. Is that the way it goes down?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's every night, but there's definitely plenty of them, that's for sure.
Do you do anything special before you hit the stage? Warm-ups, stretches, or anything?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. For at least an hour, if not an hour and a half, I just have to get into the zone. You know, I go into the dressing room, put on the iPod with some of the classic metal tunes, and just kind of get in the headspace, and then just start stretching and doing my warm-ups. What
tunes do you like to jam to?
Some of my favorites actually. We usually start off with some of the classic stuff in the beginning. It's for the top of the hour usually rolls out with some either Metallica or Maiden, Priest, something like that. And then we usually work our way right before set time up into some Lamb of God or something like that. Something nice, heavy, and aggressive in your face.
Is that what you kind of grew up on, starting out in drums? Was Iron Maiden, Metallica kind of the ones that you just first started playing on your knees?
Yeah, all of us in the band are we love to credit the classic metal bands. Those were pretty much our biggest influences growing up. Priest, Maiden, Sabbath, and even some of the more recent classic metals like Metallica and so on. Definitely been some really big influences on us, and definitely still love jamming out to them today.
How young were you when you first started playing drums?
I actually started really playing drums late. I was about 15, and that was only because we couldn't afford to get drums when I was growing up. I was the cliche thing where I was always beating on my mother's pots and pans as a young child, and it wasn't until I could get a part-time job after school and save up money on my own that I could actually go out and afford my own drum set, and that was pretty much why I had to start later on.
It's hard to start off if you want to be a drummer, because the guys with the guitar, usually, like their dad has a guitar kicking around, but if you want to start from scratch with the drum kit, you need to have some money, you need to have some space, too. Do you have a jam space at parents' place?
It was just up in my bedroom. Didn't have a whole lot up there, but it was pretty tight. I slept literally right next to the drum set, and I would struggle for time for them to allow me to rehearse. You know, I'd have to wait till the parents were at work or were out for the evening. It was always tough. I mean, obviously drums are a loud instrument, so I had to wait for their patience to grow.
Do you have a big drum collection now that you can afford it and you got the space?
Yeah, for now I do. I mean, I pretty much kept every kit from every record cycle. I get a new kit, usually based on artwork for each record. Every time a new record comes out and a new tour begins. So here we are right now on record number 5 with Asylum, and so that makes at least 5 kits out there that have been on the road. Plus, I got a couple more that have been just in the studio, and so yeah, I have a nice little collection going.
Any like the early pots and pans? Your mom keeps some in the closet for you for a while?
Yeah, right. I don't know about that.
On tour, like during the downtime, what keeps your mind occupied when you're not just doing music? You playing video games on the road? You reading books?
I'm not a big video game person. Usually just talking back home on the phone a lot with the family. That's one of the tougher aspects about being out here when the family can't be out with you. Is I'm a father now, so I miss my daughter and my wife. But other than that, we're usually kept pretty busy throughout the day doing interviews and photo shoots and whatnot, and just trying to talk about the record and the tour and just keeping the word out there.
You proposed to your wife on stage. What was that moment like? Would you suggest other people to try and do something as fancy as that?
Well, that particular venue was her hometown venue. She grew up there seeing many, many bands playing. That was actually where I had met her at. And it was just, it seemed fitting to me at the time to propose to her, not just in front of our fans, but in front of her family. Her mother and father were out that night, and all of her friends and family. So I thought it was going to be a great way for me as the drummer, the guy who usually is in the back behind the drums all night, to have to come out and have David hand me the mic and go out into the front of the stage and address the audience and call my wife up on stage and ask her to marry in front of everybody was one of the most terrifying moments of my life. But she said yes, so thankfully it all worked out.
You don't want egg on your face in front of 10,000 or so people.
No, that would have been bad.
Congratulations, probably in order here. 4th consecutive #1 album for Disturbed. You're in good company. Metallica is one of the only other bands that's done that.
That's correct. Yeah, it's. I don't even think it's really sank in yet. It's a huge accomplishment for us. It's not something we ever necessarily set out to do, but I believe there's only 3, including ourselves. There's only 3 bands ever to do it: Metallica, ourselves, and Dave Matthews. So we're in great company, and it's definitely, like I said, a huge accomplishment.
Are you thinking about what's going to happen next with the next record? Like when you're working a current album, are you already thinking about the next, or are you just like, let's just deal with what we got on our plate right now?
We have a pretty full plate right now, but we're always thinking ahead. We're always trying to come up with the next plan of attack, so to speak. We're also very sort of I don't want to say one-track minded, but there's different modes. There's touring mode, and then there's writing and recording mode. And in order for us to do what we do and do it best, we have to sort of stay on that one track. So right now we're definitely doing the touring thing, and we have a huge production out with us, and we're concentrating on just playing great shows and having a great tour. We're still thinking ahead about the next record and the new material, but usually that's just in the form of, if there is a little bit of downtime here and there in the dressing room. Danny usually has a little rig with him and his guitar, of course, and he's always noodling around and coming up with riffs, and he'll record little ideas here and there, but it really won't be until we get off the road that we'll start going through some of the riffs and actually do the writing. We have to be undistracted and be able to be away from all the stuff on the road in order to be able to write. The worst thing for us is when the middle of we've tried it before in the past. We'll be in the dressing room and there'll be an idea happening, and it'll really be vibing, and it'd be cool, and someone comes in the dressing room and has to pull us away for an interview or a meet and greet or whatever, and then we have to stop, and then an hour later we try and pick it back up again, and we just lost the momentum. So we just prefer to be off the road, in a sort of quiet space and able to focus on the writing.
Well, Mike, I appreciate you phoning the show. Disturbed should kick some ass in Edmonton tonight, and we're looking forward to the rest of the Rockstar Energy Drink Uproar Festival here in Winnipeg on Saturday. We'll see you soon. Yeah,
we'll see you guys real soon. We're looking forward to it.
All right, Mike, thanks again.
Thanks a lot, Casey.
All the interviews you want on iTunes and at Power97.com. Casey's Audio Vault.
Casey Norman is Power 97's music director and can be heard every weekday from 2 till 6 in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Power 97 is Winnipeg's best rock.